Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Now, we're going to look at this article, and it involves Julia Derbyshire interviewing Humza yousaf, because, of course, we haven't addressed the SNP and the conference in Aberdeen yet, and we're going to grasp that now. Now, there will be several videos through the day, particularly after 2:20. I mean, it's just 10 past 12 as I'm recording this. And so we're talking about 2 hours' time. Humza yousaf and Stephen Flynn will be getting up on the stage and attempting to try and explain in words that people can understand what their plan is for independence. It's going to be a car crash. In much the same way, of course, that his interview this morning with Victoria Derbyshire was an absolute car crash. She peeled him like a banana. He didn't know what to say, he didn't know where to look, and he wasn't entirely happy with the words presented. She gave him a word cloud. It was a kind of, I suppose, word association football, and he just didn't know how to handle it. We're going to take a look at this article now, and it was wonderful to behold. So if you can, go and look at it on in a catch-up or on iPlayer. Anyway, we'll take this. Please enjoy this. Here goes. So, useless puppet. Humza yousaf in car crash BBC interview as he admits things are not rosy. That is the understatement of the year. Things are not going well for the SNP, says the party leader, who was confronted with some unflattering word associations by Victoria Derbyshire prior to his appearance at the NAT conference, where he's about to have another car crash. 2 car crashes in one day. Drives like my wife. On the launch day of the SNP conference, Humza yousaf has been confronted with a word cloud that has included everything from useless, puppet and unsure, prompting him to admit that things are not rosy for the SNP. Now, did you see the deflection he used there? They're presenting a word cloud of words used for Humza yousaf, not the SNP. But he can't admit that these are his words, so he's trying to pass it off. Oh, it's the SNP are the problem. No, Humza. These aren't SNP descriptions. These are Humza yousaf descriptions. This is what people think of you. Scottish voters were asked in a poll which word they most associated with the First Minister, and independence was by far the biggest word. Fairness, Nicola Sturgeon and equality made an appearance. However, so did racist, incompetent, rubbish and division. And is anybody surprised at that? And he was presented with these, and he was like, his mouth was opening and closing like a guppy. He didn't know what to say. He looked at the image and said he was happy that his independence messaging was getting through, but things are not rosy. Only after he was pushed by Victoria Derbyshire, who took the place of Laura Kuenssberg on the BBC, much to everybody's relief. She questioned the SNP leader on his independence strategy, which is unusually difficult, I would have thought, because he doesn't really have one. Notably, the biggest word on the cloud, and asked how could he possibly back both a sustained majority to call for independence and the SNP party motion to use a majority seat win to ask for permission for IndyRef 2. He can ask for whatever he likes. Nobody's got to listen to him, of course. And there's the thing. Nobody will. Nobody's going to listen to him because he's a loser anyway. He's a yesterday's man. He's dead man walking. He just doesn't know he's already no longer the leader of the party. It's just a matter of time, isn't it? He said, this is different from what you said in your leadership campaign at the beginning of the year. You said independence needed to have a sustained majority before it can happen. Yes, it does, responded Mr. yousaf, who was then pushed to reconcile this with the message to party members. Well, he knows he's got nothing else to say to the party. He's going up there. He's going to stand on this stage. And he knows he's got to say something. The trouble is what he's about to say is meaningless, pointless, useless, and is not going to achieve anything like what he wants. Because it can't possibly. Anyway, I'm going to go back up because here is the word cloud. Now, what's the first word you see? Independence and Scotland. Scotland, independence, SNP. This is Humza yousaf, not the SNP word cloud. This is Humza useless. Scotland, SNP or independence, they jump out of you. There's equality there. Okay, we'll give him the equality one just there. What's the next thing you see? Useless. Ain't it true? Puppet is unsure, he'll give him fairness and independence. Again, independent rather than again. But I see puppet, unsure, all sorts of words, all sorts. Puppet and useless though. He's a glove puppet. Anyway, the presenter said, a majority of seats may not be 50+1. My point is, you can win the majority of seats with a much lower share of the vote than that. I'm not disagreeing with you, he said, or indeed flustered, as apparently is the word they're using there. He said, I'm saying if Westminster parties want to test the proposition for a 50%+1, I'm happy to do that. Then do that. Let's say if you don't get 50%+1, you'll give up on independence because you know the people of Scotland don't want it. Oh no. Oh no. He won't say that, will he? Because he knows the people of Scotland don't want it. He said every single democratic country uses a referendum to test propositions for popular support. No, they don't. No, they don't. At what point has that ever been true? That just isn't true, Humza. You're lying again. Germany, for example, it's actually illegal to have a referendum. The man lies to your face time and time again. He can't help it, though. He's SNP. It's what they do. Anyway, addressing the not-so-flattering word cloud, he said, people get our core message that it's about independence. It's about fairness, which is very important. It's also about you being useless, though, isn't it? That's the big message. Useless. He says, well, I'm not going to pretend to you that things are entirely rosy. Yeah, but this isn't the SNP. This is you. He says, they clearly aren't. It's been 6 months of a very difficult time for my political party. It'll get easier, though, Humza. You will find life in the future will be much easier because you won't be leader anymore. He says, my focus, my laser-like focus, is in making sure we deliver to the priorities of the people. I'll address that in a second. The cost of living crisis, investing in public services and making sure how we grow our country. And independence links to every single one of those priorities. Right, let's talk about that. Let's go with his laser-like focus. He wants to deliver on the priorities of the people. Are the priorities of the people to give £500,000 to Gaza? Because that's what he's doing. Not 1 penny to the victims of Hamas. But £500,000 of taxpayers' money, without being asked, straight to Gaza. Is that the priorities of the people of Scotland? And how's that going to help them with their cost of living crisis? How's that investing in public services? How's that making sure you grow the economy when you're giving £500,000 to a foreign nation that would happily kill the people of this country? Oh, wait. I forget the most important aspect of this. Were you told to do that down the mosque? Not give it to the Jews, only give it to the Muslims. Don't give it to the victims, only give it to the perpetrators. But that, as we've seen time and time again, is the SNP way. You don't look at the victims of sexual offences, you protect the perpetrators. You don't look at the victims of Hamas, you give the money to the perpetrators. It's the SNP way, isn't it? Is that what the people of Scotland want? Who knows? But that story I may well do later. We've got possibly a video on that story. Anyway, I shall round off there and come up. It just goes to show he's having a bad day, and it's starting badly, and it's going to get worse coming up. So there we are. It's going to be an absolute awful 3 days for Humza Yousaf. I mean, if it starts like that, what's it going to be like? And of course, he's going to have speaker after speaker going on the stage, droning on about some boring subject that nobody wants to hear. Offering no real solutions to the problems they've caused. And then Humza and Beryl are going to stand on that stage and go, here's today's plan for independence that won't work. And everyone's going to go, oh yeah, very great idea. Meanwhile, Pete Wishart sitting at the back laughing his bollocks off and going, oh, this is madness. I told him it's a mad idea. And you know what I mean? If even Pete Wishart thinks it's a stupid idea, you've got to guarantee it's a stupid idea. And also, it won't work. And he's going to have that for 3 whole days. If you looked at the itinerary, it's just it's a snore fest, a bore fest, and a fail fest, all rolled into one big, huge, massive auditorium with very few people in it. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this. I hope you liked it. If so, press that like button. That's what it's there for. And while you're there, move across and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And ring that bell. Until next time, stay safe, stay well, and I shall talk to you later with more news to come from the SMP conference. See you there.